Dad.
Hey,
What's up, Dad?
Welcome back to Jokecast.
Yes,
the only podcast with a full collective 20 years of hiatus.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, fuck. Started again. No. And the only podcast with the best intro theme song.
Yes.
Brought to you by the app called the free app called Fun Sounds on the Apple App Store.
Hope we don't get how you say copyright striked.
Fingers crossed.
But welcome to season 3. Sorry about how season 1 was taken off of the air.
And was also aired 19 years ago. 20 years ago. Yeah.
We would like at Jokecast we'd like to apologize for this, and we really hope that you can get past this. But if you were an original fan, you have the memories, and if you're not, well, you just kind of suck.
Honestly, if you haven't been here since day one, we don't know what to tell you. I've been resurrected. I'm back.
Yeah, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. We're putting the past behind us. We've resolved our differences.
Yes, we've come to a mutual consensus on what is funny and what isn't.
Primarily mutual.
Yes.
Some compromises had to be made, but
that's what happens.
Swallowed my pride.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Additionally, season 2, sorry that was short, there was some minor issues with the fact that no one was making any jokes.
That was a 2016 was a rough year in terms of the fact that no one told any jokes, and thus we had no material to work off of. But luckily 2017, 2018, jokes are back, better than ever, some might say.
Or not.
We'll see. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. You got any jokes today?
You know, I don't have a single joke. Do you have any jokes?
Let me just... Ooh, here's one.
Looking for those jokes?
Yeah, courtesy of one Jenna. No last name.
No last name. Can we make up a last name?
How about... sorry, someone's looking at us right now. Sorry, we were being rudely interrupted.
We've been kicked out of our $1 million studio because of the joke hiatus of 2016 has given us no money.
Yeah, but anyway, courtesy of Jenna, and let's say last name...
Hamburger.
That's a bad last name. Jenna, no last name.
Jenna Hamburger. Okay, we're going on Hamburger. 100% agreement.
Do you want to turn this into season 1 again?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, this joke is, you can't plant plants if you haven't botany. It's more of a verbal joke. Clearly.
And
well, I think that this joke hits a lot of levels, right? Talks about nature.
Talks about plants.
There's
a big green revolution happening right now.
And global warming. I think it's really important that we talk about climate change in this trying time. And I think the joke is sealed off as being a pun, which I think is something that is very important.
Lighthearted. Very, very important for today's very tense political climate.
Political climate change.
Oh, this joke is smart.
Yeah.
Now, that's commentary. How many Garfields are we going to give this joke?
Well, let me think. I like to say that because this joke is more, it's political, and when things have political statements, sometimes they alienate a certain side. Mm-hmm. And with this political statement, I mean, I'm a flat earther, and I just...
Of course.
I don't know if you can call it global climate change, because there is no globe.
Now, if we remove the global, if we just are focusing on climate change, the Earth, much like a piece of toast left in the toaster too long, is getting more brittle. I'm sorry. I'm getting over a cold. The Earth is becoming more brittle as we approach the sun, and I think that poses a genuine danger since our Earth is so thin and so flat.
Yes, and with the plants and the botany, I do think that in the context of my beliefs and in the context of your beliefs, it makes sense. I'm going to give it a solid 2 Garfields out of 5 because it is a pun, and while puns can be fun and lighthearted, I think they are easy jokes.
They are easy jokes, and this one is a little bit polarizing, which we like to stay away from here on Jokecast, as that has caused us enough problems in the past.
Yes. And now a quick word from our sponsor, Bowls. Have you ever been at home?
Do you have
Stop.
liquid?
I'm telling my.
Sorry,
I wrote it. Okay. Bowls. Have you ever been at home with hands full of cereal and milk and just wondered, God, why is it spilling all over my lap and body and soiling my clothes and sticking to me? Well, I have the solution for you. Bowls. Bowls are a new innovative technology. They are round, kind of like a sphere, and they are, but like a hollow sphere and cut in half. So
they're like like a plate, but like a spherical plate, is what you're saying.
yeah, a semicircle spherical plate.
Hemispherical?
Yeah,
Hemispherical.
yes. And so our sponsor Bowls would like to tell you that if you use the promo code JokecastJoke2016, you will be able to get bowls.
As many as you want.
Yeah, you can have as many bowls as you want. And this is really helpful, especially when you're eating that gross and milky cereal, which honestly, you might need something to support it. You can't keep soiling your clothes.
You can't.
It's
impractical. In this modern day, who wants to go to work in a milk shirt?
Yeah. And
we've all been there.
While eating cereal out of this bowl, your hands may become dirty, but it's just a step towards progress, is what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Yes.
We do have a copy point here from our sponsor, Bowls, that advises you against pouring multiple bowls of cereal at once, even if you are so inclined to, as bowls are a little bit addictive once you get the hang of them, once you figure them out.
Yes.
It's dangerous to have multiple bowls of milk in your home at once.
Yes, you never know what could happen with too many bowls.
Never know.
Okay.
Thank you, Bowls.
I have maybe another joke for you.
All right.
Let me just think.
In the meantime, while you're finding a joke, I would like to recall a certain anecdote that I think is appropriate to discuss here in Jokecast, as co-host Vivian and I are very close friends.
Yes.
And I feel that I can turn to our public audience of billions to tell this story and confide in you all, I suppose. But this is something that has been weighing on my mind for a bit now. But a bit ago, let's say it was a month or so ago, I was walking in a very public place, very middle of the day, down by a lake. I won't name any names to preserve our anonymity that we so value.
Yeah, it was Red Lake.
It was Red Lake. I was walking near Red Lake, and I saw a dog. And as I passed this dog that was on a leash, this dog stopped to pee, and while this dog peed and I walked towards it, it made dead-ass eye contact with me for a good 30 to 40 seconds. I was about a half a block away, and I was walking towards this dog that was just staring me dead in the eyes while it was peeing, and I was very shaken by this, and I felt that it was some sort of omen, and I was wondering if you, Vivian, had any sort of, I suppose, advice for me how to proceed from here, because I feel that my life has been seriously altered since this incident, and I don't know how I'll recover.
Okay, well, June, I do think that it might have been a sign, but I don't know it was necessarily bad, because as we know, dog is man's best friend, and maybe this was a signal that good times were yet to come. I cannot speak to the urinating portion of this, but I think having a dog's attention is something that is needed in this sad world, but also the fact that he was doing such an act maybe made less of sense in this whole kind of spiritual awakening.
All right.
That you may have.
That makes sense to me. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you.
Anyway, our next joke is from my friend, Tony, who got this off of a popsicle stick.
That is Tony Ravioli. That is Tony Ravioli.
You're going to take the mic. No one wants to hear that. Okay. Now, this is not Tony's original joke because he private messaged me and told me he got it off of a popsicle stick. So you can say this joke is already -2 Garfields for unoriginality.
Dishonest man, Tony Ravioli.
Yes.
So, the whole Ravioli family.
Who does a pharaoh talk to when he's sad? His mummy. Laughing, crying emoji. Laughing, crying emoji. Laughing, crying emoji.
Now, I think we can immediately bump this up to missed Garfields for those laughing, crying emojis.
I suppose.
I think that that is the pinnacle of comedy. It is such a clear and defining indicator of comedy that 3 of them in a row, you know that joke is a good joke.
Yes, and I would like to draw attention to the fact that he's talking about pharaohs, maybe ancient Egypt. But did this joke originate from ancient Egypt? Do you think?
We could never know. It was found from a popsicle box.
Was a popsicle box from Egypt? You never know what they had. They were very advanced technologically.
That's true. They do have a lot of pyramids
they
there.
used water systems to build their pyramids, right? And that was very advanced for the time.
And they could make the water cold.
Yes.
And make popsicles.
They could. That's what they could do. Additionally, I don't know if you guys have ever read Goosebumps, but in that, they're in Egypt and they find a mummy. Is this a pharaoh's mummy?
So, these Goosebumps popsicles that Tony was eating,
yes.
Do we have any indication of the flavor of the popsicle? Because I feel that may have some bearing on the outcome of this joke rating.
Well, I'm all about being historically correct, and at the time, it was probably water flavored because we talked about those water systems. But if it wasn't water flavored, I think it might have been sand flavored because sand has a very nice, I don't know, a biting aspect to it, right? It's earthy, yet it's cool, and it's brittle, yet it's welcoming.
So we can infer that our friend Tony Ravioli was either eating ice cubes or perhaps his new culinary invention, sand cubes.
Yes.
Which, in my mind, are very condensed frozen cubes of sand.
Yes, exactly. And so, a joke in itself, how does a pharaoh talk to who does a pharaoh talk to when he's sad? His mummy, laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji, laughing, crying emoji. Then we can infer from the indication that it is funny due to the crying and laughing emojis, and the clear historical accuracy of the joke, and as well as the fact that it is in pun format is good, but once again, he did take it off of a popsicle stick, which is probably from ancient Egypt.
That's true.
So I might give that...
So another theft of historical artifacts. That's at least -1 Garfield.
Yes, yes.
So are we going to give this -2 Garfields out of 5?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking -2. Although I do appreciate the inclusion of something more international for our audience to broaden their very, very, very narrow horizons. I think that the theft of artifact, which we all know from the National Treasure movies, is a sin. And the cheapness of a joke that is from a popsicle stick, I think that this deserves a stolen popsicle stick. I believe that -2 is a fair amount of Garfields. Nicolas Cage would be ashamed.
Yes, and we have one more joke. And it was very special. Sorry, really quick, I want to send a very special message out to my friend. His name is, well, in my phone, it's Rohan Nose Emoji. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for being a constant supporter and always being there in our lives.
Number 1 supporter of Jokecast.
Yes.
Although he has entirely failed to listen to any of the other seasons or support us for our 19 prior years.
Yeah, but
now in our 20th year, he finally shows up.
And we need to say we're very thankful for this, and I'm just going to get a little bit quiet here, but I would really like to thank you, Rohan, for just giving me epic PvP wins, because I feel like in our friendship that's what's important, you know, epic PvP wins, and I just really am so grateful that you've been there to help me in my life. Thank you. All right.
What an endearing message.
Yes. And so now to our final joke. I have to draw back to maybe this joke is unbeknownst to my co-host June, but I was thinking about the sand from earlier that we mentioned, and I was also thinking about puns because that's what the previous jokes were. I don't know if that's something that you are maybe interested in, but I found this account, and it's called, well, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you a series of pictures, and they're just pictures of San Francisco, I believe, and so I'm sorry, I know podcast, there's no visuals, but just imagine some pictures of San Francisco. Here's some pictures of San Francisco. And so one is of a building with colorful windows. One is of a bunch of houses in a row. One is of a house overlooking water. That's it. And the caption on this photo, which I think is incredibly clever, is they call it San Francisco because of all of the sand that's there. And I don't know how you thought about this joke, but I thought it was very insightful. What did you think?
Now, something that I have a very personal connection to this series of photos that you discuss, and an even more personal connection to the caption. But this was a joke, for those of you who are unaware, that I came up with myself, and this took years of refining, of focus grouping, of testing on many different audiences, and I, for one, was very proud of the outcome. And I know that one of my most trusted confidants, whose name is Maya, and whose personal information will not be disclosed, but from this, all of this testing and all of the years and hours and days that I put into this, refining this joke and really making it the best that it could be, the final test that I put it through, if I can find it, was sending it to Maya and asking if the joke would be an appropriate caption for these series of photos. And what Maya said, which gave me the most confidence to post it, was no. And that just really, it really showed me that you can't win them all.
Yeah, I think it's especially important to realize that when you're talking about jokes aren't funny to people who have no taste.
That's true. Jokes are such a personal thing, and jokes are so near and dear to us all that I don't think any one joke can be called not funny, especially if I am the one who tells it.
Yes.
And if that's the only thing you take away from this show, so be it.
Yes. We would like to remind all of our old fans and our new fans that June and I, we are, how you say, joke connoisseurs. We have studied this art for decades, and we have put our heart and soul into it, so we know what is funny, and we know what isn't funny.
That was our whole reason. Our love of jokes, our very deep and vast knowledge of jokes is what inspired us to start this show, so that we might share some of our knowledge with you and teach you what is funny and what is not.
Yes.
Because humor can be taught and should be taught.
Yes. And to close out this episode, we have to rate the joke, and I think I should be the one to do it, as you are very connected, and I think it is
That's
very
true.
funny.
It is best to remain impartial.
But I think I'm going to have to rate it a 4 out of 5 on the Garfield scale. Not because it isn't funny, but because while we are masters, we are only students compared to Jim Davis.
We must continue to strive for the perfection and the mastery that Davis provides.
Yes. Oh. Okay, one moment, please. So thank you for tuning in to our 3rd season, 1st episode of Jokecast. You have any last words?
Keep studying comedy, friends. Keep reading Garfield. Keep absorbing Garfield. Keep absorbing other comics. And as always, as I have been for 20 years, I'm June.
Yes, and I'm Vivian.